I think this tarot card reading is going to be fun. This one is for the Empress who has found her Emperor, or thinks she may have found her Emperor, and is thinking about that happy ending at the finish line, the happy home, things being stable and good. So if that sounds like something that you may be experiencing, then this may be the reading for you. Something fun to note, right before I got started filming, a little spider came over, and it's such a resilient little spider. It came over to me and was looking at me, and it has one fang missing, and it's missing multiple legs on one side. So it has clearly been through the ringer, but it is still standing strong. And I think that that may potentially play a role in this reading. I mean, maybe you guys have really gone through things and felt like you have been fighting and fighting and been through the ringer, but you're still going on. You're still moving forward and doing the very best that you can, and you're doing a pretty good job at it. So let's go ahead and get started on this reading, see what may be going on. So I understand that you feel like you may have found the person that is the perfect complement for you. It's really putting you in your Queen of Pentacles energy. It's making you feel abundant. It's making you feel cozy, safe, like you're at home, like you're able to focus on things that you want to focus on, like tending your metaphorical and or real garden. So what's one thing that you need to know about this connection? What is one thing that you need to know about this connection? Interesting. So a lot of cards wanted to come out for this one thing that you need to know. I love that my spider friend is back and standing near me watching this happen. It's kind of watching over the cards right now. So a lot of cards have come up. So I think that this is a connection that's really filled you with a lot of hope. It's made you feel like there's finally water for you to drink on a hot day. This person is basically cold water on a hot day for you. I think that they've renewed your sense of hope in relationships, and that something really good could be on the horizon. But I feel like this might still be in the starter stages because I'm seeing quite a lot of pages that are showing up. So I feel like this may still be in the starter stage. And maybe things are moving slow. But there's nothing wrong with things moving slow and steady and letting them build and letting them get that foundation, right? Like this person is giving that emperor energy, somebody who is in their masculine energy, who is able to take control. But I'm also seeing the Knight of Pentacles here. So they're taking their time. They're moving forward slowly, and they're really looking at the situation and observing the situation. And maybe they're slightly more guarded than you in this relationship as it unfolds. Maybe they're a little bit more hesitant, but they're still open. They're still willing to communicate. They're still showing up. But there is just kind of that feeling of like maybe they're just watching and observing and letting things unfold. They probably aren't trying to force anything, push anything. They don't want to run ahead. They really want to just take their time, watch, and wait. And I think that as they're watching and waiting and that's moving forward, they're really trying to see what the future may hold. They're planning. They're looking at that future. They're considering the possibilities. They're looking out onto the horizon, which is a good thing. You know, especially if you're interested in planning something real with someone. You want someone who's going to take their time, plan, and then move forward. They may still be trying to find their strength. They may still be trying to fight and overcome some obstacles that they feel like need to be fought and overcome before this can really move forward. And I think that's part of the reason why, if you're experiencing some sort of hesitation and waiting from this person, that could be why. Um, because I think they know that this relationship has the potential to change things pretty significantly for them and to really set them on a new path in life. And it's going to be something that once they get into it, there's no going back. There's no returning from that. And I feel like they still have these burdens that they're carrying right now, that are not necessarily related to the relationship, though they could in part be playing a role in what you're experiencing with this person. It's not necessarily for sure related to that. It could be multiple things that this person is still currently carrying, and they're hoping to lay those burdens down soon, but they haven't yet done so. And I think that's part of why this strength card is coming up, um, and where it is, because they're still battling those. Like if you look at this particular deck, the way the strength card is depicted, normally they will have like the woman and the lion and they're kind of friends or something. But in this particular deck, the lion, she's trying to overpower the lion. She's fighting with that lion. And so I think that this person may have some things within themselves that they are working to control, working to overcome, working to get a grip on. And I think that that may be why they're waiting. It's kind of that holding pattern, of where they're waiting. And I think it's because they want to try to do things right and they don't want to rush into something and get into a big commitment or overpromise where they don't feel like they can over deliver. Because with that emperor energy, obviously that emperor wants to be in control and then like be that healthy authoritarian. Well, authoritarian is not the word. They want that healthy masculine energy, to be presented. So if they don't feel like they can give that to you in a genuine way, then they may be waiting. They may be holding back. But yes, I very much see you've got the hope, the renewal. You've got this new little seed that has been planted that is just starting to grow. It's practical as well. It's something grounded and practical, and you guys are wanting to take your time. I think, again, the masculine energy in this scenario is probably the one that's really focused on taking their time, rather than rushing into things, because they're watching, they're analyzing the situation before moving forward, but they are planning, they are considering things, they're working on trying to get a grip and improve themselves. But right now, that's kind of what's putting this in a holding pattern. Um, but they're working on it. They've got a lot on their mind right now. There's a lot of things that's just weighing them down. And there's big changes that would come if they really ran forward into this. So I think that's why they're taking their time. Taking your time is not a bad thing. Can we be clear on that? Okay. It is absolutely okay to allow people to evolve and grow and take their time, especially when you're considering something like a romantic relationship. That can be a really big deal for people. Not everybody wants to just rush in and be in a relationship to be in the sake of being in a relationship. Some people take that very, very seriously and they approach it with appropriate amount of reverence and caution before just plowing forward and, you know, slapping labels on things. So I think there's nothing wrong with taking your time. So that's kind of where we're getting here with that. So now, what is the best advice for you right now going forward? This is so interesting how many cards are wanting to come out for this reading and that they're wanting to be placed in certain orientations. To be clear, I don't normally do this, but the cards are wanting to come out and be distributed. So this is really interesting. Let me take a look here and see what I'm picking up from this. We've got the cards, we've got 3 cards up top. We've got the center card, and then we have 2 cards down at the bottom. And when I'm looking at it, what I'm seeing is that there are certain things in energy, and then the way they're translating into actual reality. So energy, how it's coming through the filter of actually showing up in tangible reality, and then what is showing up in tangible reality. And what I'm looking at here is I feel like you are kind of feeling like you are having to fight for this connection. So see, I get the feeling that you have to fight for this connection is how you're perceiving it, like in energy, in your thoughts, in your feelings. You're feeling like you're fighting for this connection, and you really like it because it's something that you're very passionate about. There's a lot of attraction, there's a lot of feelings, there's love, lust, probably lust right now. Like, you've got a lot of lust for this person and in this situation, and you like them though. You're passionate about them. There's so many wands. All of these are wands up here in the energy, in your thoughts, in your feelings. These are all passion related things. So you're fighting for this connection. You are attracted to this person. You really, really like them. And you want to move fast. You're like, hey, we got this. We like each other. Let's go. What's the holdup? Let's keep it moving. Because you found you're the Empress, and you're thinking that this might be your Emperor, right? So you're very excited about it, and you want to move it quickly. But then all of that energy is hitting the filter of the real world, like what is actually going on in your current reality. And as your energy and your thoughts are hitting that wall of how things are actually showing up in tangible reality, it's coming through with the 8 of Swords and the 7 of Cups, which I'm seeing as you getting stuck in your head, and then you're like really looking at all these different options that you may have, and you're considering all those options. Because right now you're really feeling in your power, you're feeling attractive, you're feeling maybe a little sassy, a little fiery. There's a fly that's coming around too. You're feeling a little sassy, a little fiery, and you're ready to start new. Like, you're ready to start this new adventure, to start fresh, to move forward, to get going. And so you're eager to go, but you're meeting this person, your eager adventure is meeting hangman energy, where this person is kind of like pumping the brakes a little bit and wanting to take their time. And that's making you wonder if, maybe this is a repeat of the same kind of situation that you faced in the past, or it's making you daydream about the possibilities. Like, if you can be with this person, if you should be with somebody else. And it's really putting you in your head and confusing you. Because you have all this passion, but then when it's trying to come through, it's meeting, the energies are not quite aligned, and it's causing that to come through more as difficulty figuring things out and not really knowing what the best option is. So what is the advice for what you should do? That seems like that's what's going on. What kind of advice do we have? Right? Because you don't necessarily want to have to stifle your passion, right? But you also don't want to let it run the show. You don't want it to control all of your thoughts and overwhelm you because you're just so focused on the passion and drive that you have for this person in this situation. So do we have any cards of advice? There we go. Now we've got some cards of advice. Okay, my microphone died, but I think we're able to get it fixed. So the cards that came up for advice are the High Priestess and the Magician. So I think what you need to do is listen to your intuition. Trust yourself, right? The High Priestess, she's mysterious, but she's alluring, and she knows her power. She knows her own strength. And I think you need to lean into that. Lean into your intuitive power, your feminine power. And then that will allow things to begin to manifest. And I'm not going to say that it will necessarily manifest into a relationship or anything. That's not for me to say. But allowing you to go into that feminine aura, the feminine power, that's what's going to allow you to bring about more of what's for your highest good. So, to get into that high priestess energy, I would focus on meditating. I would focus on, if you do like affirmations, things that really focus on bringing the attention back to you, your attention, your energy, your thoughts, bringing them back onto you, who you are, who you want to be, and making yourself more magnetic because you're a whole person, focused and contained and content within yourself. And then that will allow more of that magician energy to start to flow through and manifest things into tangible reality that are for your highest good, whether it's a relationship with this person or something even better than what you could expect. But also, I think you need to stay exactly where you've been. You've had this in your, you've had that power, that set. What is you know who you are. You know that you're worth it. You know that you're amazing, and you have to keep that in mind still. Continue forward with that. Keep remembering who you are and how amazing you are. And then just be patient. Meet him at this Knight of Pentacles energy. If they're showing you this Knight of Pentacles energy, and that was showing up earlier, right? Meet them there. Be okay with letting it take its time and unfold naturally and go slow and steady and get to know them and build a foundation and establish something between you guys. And while doing that, lean in to that high priestess energy. Be your most magnetic, mystical self. Embrace that, and then it will help things come through and come to fruition in whatever way is best for you. So I hope that helps. If you enjoyed this reading and you would like to see more, feel free to follow along. And I post semi often. So there you go.